Joey, only Caribou Weather Dude here, August 11th. Got a lot to get through, so let's go. I think all kinds of crazy stuff is going to be happening all over North America this next week. Pretty interesting times. Let's get right to it because I don't have much time. There's a severe thunderstorm warning going on in Fort Liard. It continues, so that's up in the Northwest Territories with heavy rain downpours. We got no radar up there, so it's really hard to tell you anything about it. We do have some cloud images here on windy, for example, that we could kind of look at and be like, okay, heavy bands of rain, sure. We can see some of those storms at least if we look at satellite images that are current. So severe thunderstorms going on in Fort Liard, Northwest Territories. Okay, jet stream's going right through there, and that's partly responsible for why. And this jet stream is going to be the main driver of all of our stories in North America. This is telling right now. So the heat wave has not come up into BC yet. And certainly it's not going to be as extreme here, I don't think, as it's going to be for much of the United States, where even Portland, Oregon now, they're looking at 39, 40-degree temperatures coming in Monday, Tuesday. So excessive. We got the jet stream bending down over BC, which is going to help build that heat in as that high sort of cycles it inward. At least we get a little bit of modulation from the ocean through much of the province. Quite a bit of rain and whatnot. Thunderstorms going on in the prairies. Classic extreme thunderstorm outbreak through the United States, and major risk of wildfire down there. It's been extremely droughtful all over parts of Western North America, especially. Yeah, and I think Great Lakes region, big time thunderstorm day for you. Here in BC, though, things are drying out when we look at 0 hours on Navigation Canada. So yeah, definitely some precipitation's been going through the Caribou. I've been feeling that this morning right here in Wells. 6 hours, well, things starting to clear out. And this is the clearing trend that I said is happening yesterday. Here on earth.nullschool.net. Have a good idea of the temperatures right now. Well, what are we looking at? 19 degrees in parts of British Columbia, 20 down south, 21, 22. This is still morning time when I'm recording this on the 11th, so it's not going to be noon for another hour at least or so. But over in the United States, absolutely 35s, 33s. You can get down, you can find 40s in here and things like that too. 42 in Texas. So definitely that's part of our story, is that we anticipate this jet stream to more or less keep pushing through into northern British Columbia, giving us that nice bend down that we've seen in the Environment Canada one. So I just click ahead one notch and kind of look predictively what they expect to happen. But here we already see that high strengthening. It becomes a block. The jet stream starts bending around it. We got big time convergence to jet streams and heat. Heat down south. Gulf of Mexico moisture cycling in. Crazy thunderstorm outbreaks. Lightning. Dry weather. Forest fires all over North America. British Columbia, we're not really the center of that story. It's just that we are going to be experiencing some of that as well. Definitely down south, I think there's some pretty extreme things that are going to be happening the next few days. So we just keep clicking through. What's this jet stream looking like? Oh, that high is going to set in. It's going to help cycle some warm air into British Columbia up from those hot temperatures that are down here. So that's really nice of it. That'll give us some good beach weather this week. Jet stream staying high over BC. And yeah, what a crazy looking setup all this is. So yeah, currently in British Columbia. Yep, we got a little bit of rain going through in the north up there, and some of this stuff over here in the Rocky Mountains as well. So that's really nice. And here in Wells, definitely the east side of the Fraser River, getting some precipitation right now. So thank you. And this is instant weather. Thanks, Adam Skinner, for creating this. You can check that out. Look for instant weather. Get yourself into this if you want. What's going on down south? Well, not much. Getting kind of drier. And what do we got for winds going on? We can have a quick look at winds in this British Columbia interior. So a little bit windy. Not really. 14s, 11s. Ooh, some 22s up by Mount Robson right now. Okay. 14s. So nothing too alarming for wind in southern British Columbia right now. That's nice. Grand Prairie getting some strong winds this morning. 55 kilometers an hour, 64s at Kakwa Park. So that's definitely some wind up that way. But all in all, things are pretty calm in BC right now. We can have a look over at Alberta's winds and be like, okay, that's pretty cool. But even in the Peace, maybe a few blasts of wind up there, British Columbia side. So the big thing for us is that we got this heat coming in, and it's going to change the wildfire situation in British Columbia. So fire danger right now, not all that bad looking. This is a nice break we have for this last bunch of days, and I more or less have been sort of calling it as it went on Interior Weather and Wilderness Watchers. Lots of blue for fire weather index, so not a day where fire is really expected to rip. Fine fuel moisture code right now, very positive. Much of the province, definitely still seeing some damper conditions at the surface, whatever, southern BC a little less so. It hasn't had much of that rain. Duff moisture code, well, when you look down south, okay, now we're looking at the fact that they didn't get much rain there. So we see that Duff moisture code as you get deeper in the into that layer that the roots all grow into. It's pretty dry down there. Well, not so for much of BC and the coast, where the Duff moisture is now looking better than it's been for a while. However, the overall picture in BC, if you look at the drought code, is that, and much of Western Canada, is that it's, water tables are low. Things are a long ways away from getting back to where we need to be for water in the province. Things are dry. If you go deep enough down in that soil, if you go down a meter, say if the soils are that deep, you're going to find that it's pretty dry down there compared to where it should be. What's our initial spread index today? Oh wow! So really good conditions are not ripe for rip and fire to go for a run today. That's nice, right? Build up index. Well, yeah, southern BC we see has some of that fine fuel, some of the everything put together that we just talked about. If you put that all into one, well, southern BC still has the potential for some fire activity today, and we know that that's going to increase when the heat comes on Sunday. So reported temperatures right now already, we're seeing 25 in Nelson, the cusp, right? It was forecasted for 19 there, it's saying. So, okay, that's interesting. I have reason to believe that we're going to start seeing warmer weather down there on Friday than it was forecast for. If we go look at 4 p.m. today, what were they expecting? 24 degrees for Nelson area. Well, it's 24, 25 there now already. Probably going to be hotter in some of those places than what your weather apps or widgets, and depending on what you're using, might say. The story being, all this heat that is building in the United States, it's the driver of a lot of things this week that are going to be the problems. And we have these jet streams that are going to be coming down through over top British Columbia to the north, or maybe just over north of the province, down through Alberta. We're going to have some classic setups for severe thunderstorms in the United States. Already at 7 a.m. Yeah, Tennessee, places like that, they've been just getting hammered lately. 41 Celsius Saturday at 1 p.m. in Texas. And not just Texas, but all along that United States, all through the south. Some of the thunderstorms that are going to break out from this are going to be extreme. Meanwhile, in BC, though, on Saturday at 1 p.m., well, 25 might be reasonably high in some places. I suspect we'll probably start seeing, based on already the fact that today is showing some warmth, we might see higher than that as we get in on Saturday. Look at this on Vancouver Island too. You start to see the heat building on Saturday a little bit, 24s, just a little taste of what's to come. Quesnel, Williams Lake, gonna have a nice day. Yep. And the thunderstorms in the United States, like some of these are gonna be just nuts. Kansas, look out. South Dakota, look out. Saturday. Up into the Great Lakes region. Ohio, Kentucky, look out. What's that relevant to us? Well, the fact that BC's going to be having this high sit over top of us for a while, and we're not going to be seeing that kind of bullshit whatsoever. If we look ahead, Sunday 2 p.m., even up into very northerly places, 26 degrees up there, Northwest Territories. Alberta's going to see pretty warm weather in the far north, 28. As you get into northern BC, they're going to see less of that on pretty much the west side of the Rockies. Hot temperatures expected for Vancouver Island, 31 degrees down there. Okay, so now you're talking, right? 31 degrees down by Vancouver. Kelowna, Kamloops. this heat's going to dig in. And we're going to start seeing that humidity dropping down below crossover. That'll be kind of a good clue that we'll be looking at crossover conditions for fire, for any fire that's going on. Luckily, nothing too crazy looking for winds until you're into northern BC, so let's hope that holds. And you look ahead to Monday, Kelowna now expected 36, Portland 41 degrees, Vancouver Island, what are you looking at there? 34s. So this is some pretty intense heat. Don't kid yourself. I mean, people say, oh, well, it's the summertime. But no, 35 degrees on Vancouver Island at this time of year already is, that's not the way it used to be. 38 down in Washington State. So Eugene, Oregon, 40s. Medford, California, 41. We're looking at some pretty crazy values all the way across. And then when you finally get down into Yuma, places like this, 44. Hot. Texas, 42s, 40, 39 in Houston. That's going to be ridiculous. And crazy thunderstorms are going to break out, and there's going to be all kinds of weather stories. And it's going to be so dry that fire danger is going to be extreme in lots of parts of the United States. So any lightning strike that does happen in a lot of these places, and we've had flash floodings down in Arizona and places like that. 36 degrees in Kelowna, and it's 19% humidity. Down by trail, 20%, 24%. So Monday afternoon, we're looking at pretty dry air, pretty hot air, and even up in Fort St. John, humidity is going to be pretty low. So there's a chance for fires to behave according to what the weather will allow them to do. And one nice thing about this pattern is we do see overnight humidity 77%, say 81% in the Caribou, maybe a little lower up at Prince George, maybe less so in Kelowna, but at least that humidity for most of BC comes up at night. So that is one nice thing about this moderating influence that we do still enjoy from the ocean in the way this high is set up. And the fact that we're far enough north and we're late enough into the year that those dew points will hit at night, and we might have inversions in the morning too, right? So at 6 a.m. still 65% humidity in a lot of places. But by Tuesday, 3 p.m., we're deep into it. Kelowna 38, temperatures like 34 down there, Vernon 38. So this is definitely fire weather. Be ready for how hot it's going to get. Friday the 18th, pretty hot in lots of places in southern British Columbia. The 19th, maybe you start to see that ease off, except for southern BC. So a good week of pretty intense heat and a good week of extreme weather. We're going to have some fire stories, especially in the United States. We're going to have some tornado stories. We're going to have some flash flooding stories. We're going to have some, but for BC, mostly it's just a story of heat, right? If there's anywhere that gets rain and thunder this week, it'll be mostly up in the Peace region. Rains will move through the north coast. The jet stream will deliver for you guys in the north some favorable conditions. Thunderstorms in Fort St. John Tuesday, most likely. But looking through the week, not much for flashy. So BC really is exempt from some of that extreme weather that's going to be going on. But we're going to get the heat, and the heat's going to make fire do what fire does when it gets hot out. So I'm Joey, only Caribou Weather Dude. I might be back out in fire soon enough, but I tried my best to at least get something for you. Sorry I haven't had new episodes of the Meteorological Report. Been pretty busy. My kids are upstairs right now chilling on a video game, so I'm going to finish this, clip these clips quickly, and get on with my day. But please subscribe here to the channel, and if you are on Facebook and live in British Columbia, do check out do check out Interior Weather and Wilderness Watchers. Okay, bye now.